establishing realistic expectations and understanding what your objectives are with creating your podcast are the foundations on which you can build and grow and ultimately experience the success that so many podcasters have experienced. Greetings and salutations, my friend. Welcome to episode 8 of Solo Podcasting Simplified. I'm Jason Sircone, and before we get started, if you haven't done so already, whether you're watching me on YouTube or you're listening on your favorite podcast app, please take a minute to follow and subscribe to this podcast, the only podcast dedicated to your solo podcasting initiatives. Subscribe, follow, and if you're on YouTube, click the little bell so you're the first to know when new episodes go live. Today, I'm officially launching a brand new weekly series here on Solo Podcasting Simplified known as Podcast Therapy Sessions. These short episodes are designed to give you some quick information and insight about various aspects of your solo podcasting initiatives that you can utilize immediately. So everything you're doing in this space can be elevated and taken to the next level. And I'm kicking off this weekly series with what I feel is the most important aspect of successful podcasting, and that's mindset. If you come into podcasting with the wrong mindset and you have unrealistic expectations of how fast you're going to grow and how the world's going to show up to listen to your podcast as soon as you start putting content out, you are destined to fail. You cannot build a successful podcast without an abundance mindset and expectations that this is the long game. Your podcast cannot grow and will not grow overnight. Understanding this on the front end before you ever press the record button is going to put you in a much better position to succeed with everything that you do. Establishing realistic expectations and understanding what your objectives are with creating your podcast are the foundations on which you can build and grow and ultimately experience the success that so many podcasters have experienced. On the flip side, there are a number of podcasters that have only made it a few episodes. I've talked about this already here on the show. That Podfade is real. Those podcasters, when they first started out, probably had some very good intentions and some amazing ideas about how they could grow their show, but their mindset wasn't dialed in. They weren't thinking about the long-term growth that their podcast could bring to their brand. They were thinking about big numbers, sponsorships, monetizing almost immediately, or it could have been something completely different, but their mindset wasn't on their true objective. In order to build a show that serves the right audience and brings the right people into your orbit, you need to establish what you want to accomplish, and you have to build a mindset that keeps you focused on accomplishing that goal through all of the growing pains that you may face. If you're a brand new podcaster that's doing this for the first time and you haven't built an audience yet, maybe you, even if you have on another platform like social media or an email list, it's still going to take time to develop your podcast audience because the established audience may not listen to podcasts. And if you're brand new, you have to prove your worth. You have to show that you have staying power and that you are going to be a reliable source of information for them week in and week out. The more consistently you appear in front of your audience, the more they establish trust in you and the more they start turning to others in their circle, telling them why they need to follow you as well. You have to understand that that doesn't happen overnight, and that requires a strong mindset of understanding the long game and understanding what you're really in this for. Now, when you think about massive growth, if you're a coach or consultant and you want to grow your business, what would happen if 100 people knocked on your door and wanted to be a client tomorrow? More than likely, if you're small now, that type of scaling would crush you because you wouldn't be able to handle it. Yes, it looks like a good problem to have, but you need to be able to scale and grow efficiently and in a way that doesn't destroy everything that you're trying to build because it ruins your bandwidth. You have to think about that when it comes to your podcast as well. So steady growth, consistent growth are going to help you, and it's going to bring more people into your world, but you can't get there if your expectations are unrealistic and you get fixated on numbers telling you that you're just not growing fast enough. Now, I've already talked about this as well, but numbers can definitely play tricks with your mind and they can be helpful to your growth, but it's important to understand your expectations and your objectives first. When you focus on that, numbers will be irrelevant. You'll be focused on the long-term growth, which will build your skill set. And as you get more confident in delivering your message, the more people will resonate with it, and that will make your content more recommendable. That's how you grow. But if you don't get to that point, you'll never experience it. You have to come into podcasting with a winning mindset and understand that podcasting is a marathon, not a sprint. Stay consistent with your objectives, keep building on your skill set, and have that positive mindset that you are building something special, because you truly are. That's going to wrap up today's podcast therapy session right here on Solo Podcasting Simplified. If you got something from this, let me know. I love the feedback. Shoot me a message or leave a 5-star rating and review. Let me know what you think of the show. Let me know what you think of this advice, and hopefully you're able to put it to work in your efforts today. That will bring down the curtain on episode 8 of Solo Podcasting Simplified. I hope you had a great time. I know I did. Until our paths cross again on episode 9, I'm Jason Sircone on Solo Podcasting Simplified. Good talk. I'll see you out there.